Okay. I really didn't think we were gonna go live on the first try, but here we are. And there's no dropping frames. Okay, great. Fantastic. Hello everybody. Um let's get rid of that. So, hey Debbie. Yeah. Good. We're live. We're going. We're up and running. Um got a tweet. I just checked Twitter and I saw Billy was like, "Are you okay?" I was like, "Man, I better go live, man. People are wondering where I am." That's what Twitter is for, folks. Billy used it correctly. Karen McDonald used it correctly. A-Dub is retweeting the shit out of me. Steve Running is tweeting the shit out of me. Thank you guys. Nothing will get me broadcasting faster than seeing you guys participating in my Twitter feed. I promise you guys that. If you love the show, then prove it by loving my Twitter feed. And man, I'm telling you, look, I don't get, no offense to y'all, okay? I don't get the stimulating conversation that I really desire when I do this live stream. And I'm sure you guys don't either. But what I found out was if I go into a room on Twitter and listen to people speak that I follow on Twitter, I have an enlightening time listening to other people speak about things that I care about, that I'm interested in. The thing is this, a lot of the people that I follow on Twitter, the reason why I follow them is because I appreciate and respect the things that they tweet. Right? So that's how I found out what they basically were about. They were tweeting along the same lines of things I was tweeting about. So now when they go live and they have these conversations, we're all talking about the same type of stuff for the most part. And I really enjoy those conversations. And the people on my Twitter feed offer, you made a Twitter just to follow me? Thank you, Roland. That's great, bro. I really appreciate that you did that, man. That means a lot to me. I'm looking for more people like you to do that. Thank you. Nay's Garden. He's made a video. No results found. What? No results found? Oh, can you believe that? He typed in Nay's Garden to search and nothing comes up. And he's showing me on a video. Dude, this has gone so far. It's like they hide you. I saw this coming long ago, folks. Complete subversion of the word Nay's Garden. It won't even show up in a straight YouTube search. Thank you, Billy, for showing me that. Hey, Nay, just got burned at work yesterday. The blister opened up today, so I used some triage oil under a band-aid. Not only does it look like it's starting to heal, right? I'm not surprised. It worked as a numbing agent, right? Of course, yes. So I can continue. Yes, Aaron, I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna put that on Twitter. Thank you. You know, this is what no one will ever see, and I'll tell you what, guys. I'm gonna put this on Twitter right now. All of you are more than welcome to go there and retweet this. No one else will see it unless you do. But I'm going to put it on there. You guys are more than welcome to go to Twitter and help out, man. Each tweet that you guys put, each retweet, each thing that you can add, it helps so much. So you could go to Twitter and retweet that right now if you guys wanted to. You know, make Twitter a part of the show. Make it a supplement to the show. So while I'm tweeting, you guys can help broadcast the messaging. TikTok fan, but I said, what the hell, might as well. Right, you might as well. That's where the intelligence lies, bro. I'm telling you. You're not going to find intelligent people on TikTok. You're not going to find intelligent people on Facebook. You're not going to find intelligent people on Instagram. You're going to find narcissists, comedians, and friends. And that's fine. And there's nothing wrong with that if that's what you're into. If you're like me and you need more of a higher level of stimulation, so things you can think about throughout the day, things you can research, things that will intrigue you and keep you motivated, I highly recommend Twitter. And you develop your own situation. You develop your own experience on Twitter. You know, if you go on Twitter, and man, one of our old audience members came on Twitter and bitching up a storm. Oh, all these men, they're all messaging me all the time. I said, block them. And she played the fool with me about it. I was like, just block people that bother. No, but they're always messaging me. All these men with their messaging, and I can't do anything, and blah, 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 blah. Look, I know beautiful women. They have beautiful minds, and they express themselves beautifully all across Twitter. And they've got thousands of men drooling all over them, and they do just fine. You know, if somebody gets inappropriate with you, you block them and you move on. You don't like what you're reading on somebody's feed, you block them and you move on. It's amazing. So you see, this is what I do. NBA basketball season starts, blah, blah, blah. I block NBA basketball season. Yeah, man. I block Tesla. I block General Electric. You know, I block every fucking giant corporation that I see on Twitter advertising. Why? Because you can block them. And you don't have to see any advertisements on your feed at all. All you got to do is use the block feature, and it's so simple to do. And then I'm just getting information from people all day. I love my Twitter feed. I love it. And now that I have full access to it, I am so much happier because I've got freedom on it now. I can listen. They wouldn't let me to listen to people speak. I couldn't even go into a conversation, and I didn't realize how amazing it was. It's funny how they exclude people like us from their little bubbles, you know. And Twitter just pushes you outside, and then while people are enlightening themselves and educating themselves and getting smarter and smarter and smarter, you're getting angrier and dumber because you can't exercise your brain because social media algorithms say no, you're not a nice person and you don't deserve to be smart and have nice things. That's what we're letting artificial intelligence do to us already. We've already gone past that point. I could talk about this every day. I don't want to. But if you guys want to continue the discussion, I highly recommend you come on over to Twitter, follow @NaysGarden. Help me amplify my voice. You know, every time I hop into a room, a chat with people on Twitter, none of you have ever followed me in. And I know you get notified when I go into a chat because I get notified when my people I follow go into a chat. None of you have ever said, hey, I'm going to click in there and listen to Nay speak. My Twitter followers do, though. Not my audience members, but my Twitter followers do. People that I don't know in person. And they want to hear what I have to say. And they appreciate what I have to say. And I appreciate what they have to say. So, if you want to increase your intelligence, if you want to expose yourself to greater things, I recommend you join some of these chats on Twitter. And you know what you're going to find out is all the people that you follow because you're interested in what they have to say, you're going to like them even more when you actually hear them speaking. Because people are way smarter than 140 characters will allow them to be. I hope that's making sense. Look, I don't expect too many of my audience members to follow me over to Twitter. Now I get it. Now I've totally figured it out, man. My sister and I, my mom and I, we've all had the conversation about my audience. You guys do what you want to do. You know, I give you exactly what you want, and you take it. And what you want is crazy, stupid fucking me with my cannabis, acting a fool, ha ha ha, whatever. You guys don't really want to get your education from a guy like me. And I get it. I totally get it. The thing is, the people who follow me on Twitter because I make sense, they do. They do want to get their education from a guy like me because they actually listen to me. They're not just there to smoke their bong or learn how to fix glass or grow great cannabis or, end up, learning how to make triage oil or listening to me play music or my jokes or, like my beard or whatever the fuck. I've said something on Twitter that they agree with, they start paying attention, and they're like, man, I really like what this guy has to say. I want to contribute, I want to amplify, I want to add to it, I want to debate him. I disagree with him on this, but I respect him as a person. Missing, endangered, elderly.
Silver alert. Missing/endangered elderly. Details at http://chp.click/alert.
See if it comes up here. Everybody in my county just got that. Everybody's phone just rang in my county. That must have been psychotic if there were a whole bunch of people in like a restaurant, you know, or at a gathering. Dude, I didn't want to open that in Twitter. What are you doing? Okay, it opened it in Twitter. Dude, it's taking so long to load this stupid page. It's an emergency alert, man. What? Give me the goddamn information. Oh, it's Calusa Mendo. Nowhere near me. Okay. Oh, this old lady. I hope they find her, man. Oh, I hate that, man. It's a cold, mean, fucking evil world we live in, man. You know? God, man, it's just if you don't have family to watch you, you don't have the money. TV2 Live. I agree. I do resemble Charles Manson. I do resemble him, especially when I go like this. Ah! What did I do? Yeah, I had some surgery. I had the swastika removed, and I'm back from the dead. Charles Manson. I actually, someone like me, I'm a horror movie buff. Charles Manson's the real fucking deal. You have no idea how much of a compliment you just gave me. What can I say? It's a compliment. I like the horror. And I don't know, there's something about the fact that he's a cult leader too is kind of cool. And people literally just did whatever he said. You know, I would like it if you guys would share my material on Twitter. I don't tell you to go kill folks. Hey, I say, go share my stuff on Twitter. Go join me on Twitter. Let's have a conversation on Twitter. And you guys are like, fuck that guy. Charles Manson's like, go kill those people. And they're like, yes, sir. How many body parts do you want us to bring you back? How many ounces of blood do you want us to extract? God, man, that guy, I gotta say, I'm a little impressed with Charles Manson, man. He's got way more power over people than I ever did. And he was crazy. You know, he was tripping every fucking day. Ariel Guerrero, hello, Ariel. Or Ariel, right? Sorry. Content, personality, and interesting people and info. Love Twitter. Carrie Ann, yes, Twitter's great. Dude, I right away thought this guy is nuts, but you're already growing on me. TV2 Live. I'm not nuts, bro. I'm pretty cool. When you change your format, you have to rebuild your audience. The people you had before were there for the old show, of course. I've rebuilt twice. Billy, I know, right? And I'm okay with that. I'm okay to lose the people that don't contribute to the show. I'm okay to lose the people that aren't interested in what I have to say. I'm okay to lose the people that don't agree with me and refuse to even engage me. I'm okay with that. Since I stopped eating sugar, Billy, my brain is hungry. And this audience, sometimes it just doesn't satisfy it. If I hop on Twitter, it gets the rest of it, you know? And like I said, no offense against my audience. I love you guys. You're my fucking family. You love me. Almost unconditionally. And I fucking love that shit. At the same time, when it comes to that Twitter thing, that's the one condition, man. Nick loves my Twitter content. Right, Nick, because you read it. You're actually reading what I'm tweeting, bro. And that's the difference between you and on a lot of other people. You'll actually read the tweets and you'll go back and see what I'm tweeting about. You'll understand it. You'll say, oh, that's not just a statement. Oh, he's responding to this. Oh, that makes me feel like this. And I agree or I disagree or blah, 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 blah. Great. Now we're talking, you know? Are you trying to get on Twitter? Good, Bell. It's not that hard. Just get a new... Oh, poor Wi-Fi. Okay. Power to the people. Yes, power to the people. Bell, remember, I lost it all to the fire. Yes, I know, Bell. I know. I don't forget shit like this. When one of my audience members is hurt, I know. Thank you, Karen. I shared this live on Twitter. Patty Anderson. That's because you're a beautiful woman, Patty. I came close to dying in a wildfire, but I lived. I had to drive through a wildfire. And if a tree had fallen across the roadway, man, we could have been trapped. Luckily, somebody had already gone through before me with a chainsaw and cleared the path. But those trees were on fire, man. It was crazy. Everything was on fire, both sides of the road. It was horrifying, man. Okay, so I don't know why I just pulled my keyboard over like I was going to type something. I don't know. Actually, I was going to get high. I meant to pull my bong or my dabs over. Okay, so one thing I noticed this morning, man, I was in a chat. I want you guys to listen very closely. It's only going to take a second. I was in a chat this morning. There were some guys in there, really nice people. One of the guys was talking a lot about weed, and he was talking like this. And I thought to myself, this poor guy, he's making cannabis users look dumb. I bet you if he quit eating sugar, that whole lag in him trying to put a conversation together, trying to form a fucking sentence, that would all vanish within a week, and he'd be talking normally again like I am. Look, man, go back and watch my shows from a year ago and listen to how I was talking. And watch how many times I got confused during a show where I get interrupted by somebody and I forget my train of thought. And then I just like, oh, I forgot what I was talking about. 3 minutes later, one of you guys chimes in the chat, Nay, you were talking about like this. And I'm like, oh my God, that's right. Yeah, blah, 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 blah. You guys don't have to remind me about that shit anymore. It's the sugar. It's not the weed. And if you'll stop calling it weed and you'll stop eating sugar, your whole life will change on both of those levels. You'll reach a whole new level of education and enlightenment that you won't get any other way, man. When you start calling cannabis by its true name. Man, I listened to this guy this morning. He saw me in his live chat, and he goes, marijuana. He like said it slow. It's almost like he thought that maybe he had heard me or seen one of my tweets about calling it cannabis, and it was almost like I heard guilt in his voice when he used that word. Well, there should be guilt in your voice. You know it's fucking racist. How many times do I have to tell you? At one point, you're going to have to realize it's a racist word. You know? All words are created somewhere. It doesn't matter that the word was created by William Randolph Hearst. It doesn't matter. It's a fucking racist word. Created out of hate, created out of vitriol, created out of ignorance, and a lack of being able to figure out how to make money. You know, the guy was an idiot. He had to hurt people. He had to hurt a beautiful thing. And he had to basically make mankind go extinct for his own greed. What's my handle on Twitter? It's TV2 Live. It's Nay's Garden on Twitter. Nay's Garden, at Nay's Garden, all one word, on Twitter. I would love to see you on my Twitter feed, TV2 Live. What's your handle on Twitter? How many peeps you have following me over there on Twitter? Not a lot. You know, I get subverted, bro. I almost hate to tell you how many followers I have. Because, you know, only 5 of them fucking actually participate in my tweets. Where's my profile at? Here we go. 3,475. And I'm only following 2,397. So, those, at least 1,000 of those are people that aren't just follow backs, you know? Most people just follow back and then they never participate, or I never hear from them again. You know, people follow me back and I put something up and I never hear from them again. It's crazy, man. And I'm not blaming them. I think Twitter hides me from them. They see a million tweets and mine's at the very bottom, or it's under a little tab that says, click here for more tweets, or click here for tweets that may be offensive. That's me. You know, and they're not even offensive, but I'm branded offensive content. So everything I put is offensive. Even if I'm trying to change my whole persona. It's almost impossible. Your TV at live on Twitch. TV2 Media on Twitter. Okay, I'll look for you. You don't do shit on Twitter? Well, when you're looking for intellectual simulation, bro, you're not going to find it anywhere else. You're not going to find it anywhere else. Not on an equal playing field, man. Look, you can go into like Jackson Hinkle's YouTube, and you find some very intelligent people in his chat. But it's not an equal playing field, bro. You've also got trolls, and you've got Jackson with the whole... He's got the whole platform, and no one else speaking. No one else has a voice. You go on Twitter, you go into a chat room, and everybody has a voice, and everyone can speak. And as long as you do it appropriately, you don't cut people off, and you make sense, and you're not being a douchebag, you can gain followers just by making sense. You know, I follow people in these chats all the time that I'm not following. I'm like, oh, this guy I totally agree with. I'm following this guy. They follow me back. Oh, this chick, she's making total sense. I'm going to follow. I'm sorry I said chick. I shouldn't say that. That's objective. This woman is making a lot of sense. I'm going to follow her. You know? Whatever. And I follow them from inside the chat. They call it a Twitter space. Because you can really hear someone express themselves so much more beautifully than you can with 140 characters, man. And it's amazing how much you leave off when you're limited. There's so much you leave out. Inflection even, just your tone means a lot. You don't know what someone is really saying until you hear the tone of their voice and how they're saying it, right? Signs from the 70s, hey, what's your sign? Right? Seize the day at Awful Shalady. Okay, Carrie, are you a ocean farer? Please leave a thumbs up. Thanks, Nick. You can find informed folks everywhere. Yes, but you won't find a pedestal on which all of them can stand equally until you go to Twitter TV. You're not having equal conversations on fucking YouTube, bro. You know? You're not doing that on TikTok. You're not doing that on Instagram. I mean, Facebook, right, on Mike and Cam. That's why you live stream? Right. But still, me sitting here having all of the platform isn't helping you and isn't helping anybody else that might have something positive or something, you know, important to add to the conversation. I'm telling you, those Twitter spaces, everyone can speak and everyone can listen to each other. And it's this on freaking steroids, man. It's this on crack cocaine. It's podcasting on crack. It's way better. And the thing is you're surrounding yourself with people that have opinions that you want to hear from. Not necessarily people that you agree with on everything, but someone said something, you know, like Badass Brad, for instance, the guy with the pinky ring and the freaking New York thing. Shut up. Forget about it. That guy, hey, man, he's like a Republican, man. I would have never known that him and I have almost everything in common if I had just looked at his labeling. We have so much more to offer each other, and social media has been distancing us all, separating us all, putting us all into these bubbles so that we can fight. And I'm telling you that these spaces on Twitter destroy that bullshit. They're putting us all on level platforms. They're giving everyone a voice, and they're letting you be heard finally. And being heard is one of the most important things about being a human being. Having your voice heard by other human beings. Whether or not anybody ever acts on it or cares or anything, at least somebody heard you. You know? Let me close this door. It's getting freaking cold in here. Oh my god. It's getting warmer outside. No sunshine, though. Let's do a bong rip. Let's do a bong rip. All right. We'll call this one late. Bottom of the hour. I don't know. Bottom of the hour. No law regarding cannabis. Cannabis is a test for all. Cheers. That was cached for the most part. Hey, Tula, I haven't seen you in forever. You're back to work. Well, welcome back to the show. I'm glad you made it. I love having these monitors. Got the cheapest monitors I could find, man. The largest ones at the cheapest price. And they're beautiful. So, you know, it kind of sucks is these spaces are only available. Oh, fuck. Oh, I gotta be on the Twitter app. I fucking love the spaces, man. I love listening to all these people that I follow on Twitter and listening to them speak. But the thing that I hate is I can't Bluetooth the fucking audio from my phone. So I have to listen to it on the speaker from my phone. And you can't live stream to Twitter. Neither can I. I've been blocked for a long time. I don't know if I could be streaming now, though. I have to check.
You know, and some people in that certain communities don't understand the inherent, like, right? So that creates a different dynamic about what that community needs and how it interacts with society. And I mean, look, I looked at Dave Chappelle's explanation of the closer and how he's willing, you know, how the LGBT community is coming at him, and I understand what he's saying. You know, look, this community has seen a lot of a huge amount of progress in their rights in a very, very short time, and they stand up and they stand proud and they rally for it and everything. But in relation to the black community, and we talked about that in the 50s, 60s, and 70s when there was supposed to be this great influx, the civil rights wasn't really,
to Twitter?
Didn't change a whole lot.
Yeah, you can live stream
and
to
when
Twitter.
you look at the after effects of that in the 80s and 90s when the war on drugs happened, they just reversed all that shit, but they did it legally without just saying it. So that I do believe there is a difference.
Oh.
I do believe there is a difference in,
you're right.
in the way the communities are perceived and in the way they can make demands and the way they are treated.
You can stream
based
to
on
Periscope, but they're kind of changing.
So,
You'll be able to stream to Twitter again.
I agree there's something to be said for that.
This really interests me, what he's talking about right here.
Then another, you know, you were speaking on voting, right? This is another just insanity, because we all know that voting is only halfway effective anyway, especially the higher you go up the rung. But, or I should say, it's not it doesn't affect you as directly.
Every solution these guys come up with is based on government solutions.
You know, if we're having a discussion on politics and we're discussing who you voted for, you choose.
And my solution is no government. The government's what's killing us.
Especially, in the past 5, 10, 15 years.
This guy right here, he said we need to have a military. We've got to have a military. And I thought to myself, if we were like an alien planet that came and invaded the United States in some movie, we would have all been on the same page. We wouldn't need a military. We'd all get along. Who would we fight if we were a global society? We wouldn't need a military. Think how stupid military is.
You think you do.
You get rid of military, everyone's got money, everyone's got health care, everyone's got peace.
I think this is going to sound bad, but I think that, two things. One is, I think you're better off not voting. I know that sounds bad.
No, you are better off not voting.
He's right. Gets to a point.
Don't vote.
Not just for black folks, but I think even a lot of white folks are getting frustrated now, too, on both sides.
Hey, Blue Jaws.
Is that the one thing that is worse and that is more un-American than taking away someone's right to vote is crushing their desire and their will to vote and their inspiration to vote, because they feel like, what the fuck's the point?
Right.
That's worse than taking away someone's right to vote. Having the right to vote and feeling like, why should I go to the poll, because it's just going to be fucked up either way.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah, and not even
Trump
that,
out,
just
now what?
The fact that,
right? Nothing changes.
The election system, the voting system's all rigged anyway. I mean, you're voting for a plurality in some cases. So somebody who gets 34% can win. That's not a majority. I mean,
exactly.
If
the
we
system
even had a
is
system
broken.
That was,
don't vote. Look, man, let government collapse and let's learn how to live without government.
Based on our input.
Stop looking to government to solve all of our problems,
I
man.
get it. I'm on this whole fence about voting and not voting because whether you can play. Yeah, I get it. I fucking didn't vote for a long time, and then I got involved in it, ran, and all that other shit. Now I'm back to saying it's a bunch of bullshit. Fucking the politics will change with the culture of society, as it always has. The people will push the whoever's in office to do whatever needs to be done based on what their demands are and what the accepted culture is.
Government.
And if you're letting
I don't even need to talk to these guys about it. I don't need to convince them of anything.
One culture dominate and set the rules of the game for themselves.
Government is the problem. Getting rid of it is the solution. That's it.
We've had going on, right?
I can't say that to them because these guys are military guys. These guys think the only way to solve things is with war and with government and laws.
Capitalism, when it's supported by the very
and I am on a totally different level than them.
Racism,
I'm not saying a higher level. I'm just saying a totally different one.
I mean,
we're totally in different bubbles, man. I'm like, you guys are looking to government to solve all of your problems, and government is causing them all.
Of resources.
Look at war, man.
So you're not, without
our governments spend our money so we can fight with each other.
You're glossing.
Our governments spend our money so we can fight with each other against red versus blue. They spend our money to do this.
Like they said, the whole system was based on keeping the white aristocrats in power. And we still use that same antiquated system and call it democracy.
True.
The fucking Senate is one of the most undemocratic
Quarter of the hour.
That you could possibly have. You have two people representing corporate states and massively different populations of people. All they're there for is to represent the corporate interests of those states. And how is that democratic? So, yeah, it's all fucked up, and I don't blame anybody for not wanting to take part in it.
Yeah, it's wild. Even, a perfect example of that is Manchin. When he shot down this infrastructure bill, and I'm not debating whether or not the infrastructure bill is good or not, but to your point is what I'm getting at is Manchin literally nixed that bill because the majority of his family's wealth is tied to the coal industry and natural resources, right? So it's not that he's not concerned about the environment, nor is he concerned about, the folks that live in those states, or that
he lives in one of the poorest states in the union.
Right.
And some of that infrastructure money was going to his state specifically for building infrastructure, and he doesn't care because his personal wealth takes dominance over any of that.
And that was the point I wasn't going to debate, the good or bad of the infrastructure bill, but to your point, that happens, quite often. I don't know specifically how it would look or should look. I believe that with respect to the national election especially, I think it should be a hybrid. I don't know how it would look specifically, but for example, it's getting to the point where populations are so spread out within the United States that I think that you should go by the general vote, the general vote count first. And then, I don't know what number you would put on it, but let's just say, for example, it was within 10 million votes, or whatever the case may be. Then you go to the Electoral College as maybe a tiebreaker. But the fact that that you could lose by 10 million votes nationwide and still be president of the United States, that doesn't make any sense.
Newfoundland 420.
And so
no law regarding cannabis. Cannabis isn't business for all. Cheers.
It needs to be, and then they're still moving lines everywhere, and they're still doing that thing. We're all aware.
Thank you, Nick. Thank you for asking people to do that.
It's starting to bleed over into poor white communities too. We talked about this before with other issues, but poor white communities need to wake up and realize that this gerrymandering is starting to bleed over into their communities as well.
Yeah, the only problem is
it's all political.
Utilize their ongoing decline into poverty. They use other people as scapegoats. They, of course, they're not going to admit to
Hey, Josh.
their own fucking ripping people off. They use black people. They're lazy.
I might be
Mexicans
broadcasting
stealing
Twitter.
their
Let me see.
jobs.
Let
Immigrants
me
are the
check.
problem. We spend all this
Just not my
money.
main
We're
channel.
feeding, clothing, giving free health care to all the immigrants at the borders. You know that? They're living it up down there. It's like fucking Club Med down there at the border. All these people, going thousands of miles to try to escape what the United States created in their fucked up country, because most of that's our fault as it is. And so they're trying to find some food and fucking try
This guy's
to
a
get,
blue check on Twitter.
away from marauding bands of people trying to kill them for drugs or whatever the case is. And yeah, I guess the going ideology here, or the going perception
Twitter says view event.
once
It says
they
I'm
hit
on
that
Twitter
border, man,
broadcasting.
they're just giving all this lavish.
This page doesn't exist. Okay, maybe not.
Lifestyle, and they're ripping off all of your wealth from you by living under a bridge down there at the border.
Okay.
And
Page doesn't exist.
Yeah, and you're right about that. Even with respect to immigration, I am for legal immigration. I'm okay with the wall. However, I think it should be done respectfully, in a humane way, and without hypocrisy. And that's the key, without hypocrisy, right? So two things. If it's just about the principle of the thing, which I actually support, why are we building a wall on the Canadian border? I mean, I know the reason.
I'm gonna re-add
But
Twitter.
that is the most unsecure border in this nation. It's 10 times more insecure than the Mexican border is. And there are crimes and criminals that travel to and fro across that
It's a
border.
new
on a
thing to
daily
broadcast to
basis as
Twitter
well.
now, guys. It just
But
came
you
out.
never hear about it.
I'm
And
gonna
it's
try to
because they
broadcast to
don't
the main
look like,
channel.
Black folks and Hispanic folks. Primarily. That's the primary reason for it. But my thing is, if you're going to build a wall, build it on both borders. And if you're going to be, you would think with the rhetoric that the only reason we have crime and drugs in America is because, 99% of Mexicans that come over illegally are fucking thugged out criminals, and they're members of MS-13, and they want to put everybody in barrels and burn us alive and rape all of our white women, right?
Okay, supposedly I'm live on Twitter now.
And feed drugs to all of our people. But
It's working, guys. I'm live on Twitter. You guys could tweet the show now. Holy
while they
shit!
do have loose laws in place against exploiting immigrant labor, they're very rarely enforced. And when they are, they just get slapped on the hand with a $500 fine.
How many of you will retweet this?
But if we're going to say that,
How many of you will retweet that right there?
we have historically exploited, and these are facts. Whether you want to acknowledge it or not, that's another issue. We have historically exploited other nations for their resources. We all know that. And yet, when another group exploits us for our medical resources, for our health benefits, all of a sudden it's a problem.
It's not even showing up on my channel,
Right?
dude.
So we can't be hypocritical
Oh,
about
there it is. It says
you know,
spaces.
all these construction owners that are glad
Space.
to take advantage of this
Oh,
immigrant
dude, you
labor,
could connect to a space
they
on the
can be
fucking internet now.
in similar ways that we say that we want to prosecute these so-called
Holy shit. Dude, we'll be able to hear them nice and loud.
of this immigrant labor. They need to be prosecuted in similar ways that we say that we want to prosecute these so-called illegal immigrants that cross our borders.
Where's the volume?
I just say do it without hypocrisy and do it in a humane
I
way.
got turned all the way
I'm
up.
good with having a
It's
wall.
really
Do it
quiet.
on both borders.
Yeah, man, I agree with that. I especially when you look at what we've done to dismantle regimes in other countries and fuck up their economies because
This is
we're
great.
ripping them off of their resources. And like you said, when they come knocking on your door saying, "Hey, man, you took all our shit. Can we have some bread?" and you don't want to give them some bread, I'm not.
That's exactly the shit that happens.
Yeah, I'm not for like you said. I'm not for like open borders, just anybody flying around. Like I understand. We
You
have
could
to have
chat in
borders,
here?
but
Oh,
I'm for documenting.
It's transcribing what he's
Like
saying.
the motherfucker want to come here and work, document him, give him some paper, say, okay, you're here working, and you can be a part of the system in whatever way you can. And
This is so cool.
and definitely not exploiting those people because they come from a position of more need than the average American does, right? Then that's one of the problems, and that is an exploitation on the employer's part that drives down the labor for the white person, and it is a real factor, right?
Yeah, it is. I agree with you on that.
You drive down the labor cost, and then you say the Mexicans are stealing my work. Well, no, the employer stole your job because he drove down the wages to the point you didn't want to accept.
I'm gonna see if I can get it louder. Let me turn on my EQ. Hold on, guys.
So they didn't steal your job.
I gotta turn it down while I do this in case it blasts the volume.
Yeah, and that's, you know, par for the course more often than not. For the elite pop, you know, those that own these big companies, these construction companies, these, you know, agricultural
There we
farms
go.
and networks. You know, you only hear half the story. Okay, of course they're gonna. If you are, even if it is an unfair opportunity, if you are giving them some sort of an opportunity by exploiting their labor, of course they're going to come over. You know, so you want the problem to stop, and yet you don't criminalize or more severely punish, you know, Americans when they willingly exploit. You know, when they know they should be paying them $20 an hour and they pay them $5 an hour.
How
That's
do I?
bullshit, man. They know it, and we know it.
They're not gonna let me join.
And it's the American way, right? You bail out the bankers and you leave those homeowners to fend for themselves. They got exploited and taken advantage of by those very bankers. Say, because Obama could have just paid everybody's fucking house off, and the banks would still have gotten the money. But instead, he just said, "Oh, here, I'll make you whole to the bankers," and everybody lost their businesses and their houses and all that other bullshit. And the people on the bottom suffered. I just started my construction business in 2007.
Oh.
I'd been doing construction before. I was good. You know, I got sober. I was like, man, could I do this? And I'm picking myself up by my bootstrap.
Hold on a second. I gotta refresh the page because my pop-up blocker was blocking something, and I think that might have been why I couldn't join. I could listen, but I couldn't join. Let's see if it pops back up. Where is it again? How do I find that space? It popped up before. Now it's not just popping up. Kind of weird. Would it be? Where's the spaces at, dude? Go home? Go home. Maybe it'll pop up on my homepage. Huh. I lost the spaces, man. I lost the spaces. Maybe if I just search that dude, he'll come up. There he is. Okay, there's his space. Maybe you can only listen
for graduation, and the parents wanted some work done to their house, so it led from one to the other. And I was very fortunate until I went through my breakup in 2010 and lost the ranch, and went a different direction, started looking at building websites, right? So I taught myself how to build websites.
Let me see if I can log in with my phone and tell him that I'm broadcasting him.
in building websites than building houses. But nobody bailed me or people like me out in 2007, 2008 when the market fucking crashed and they were handing all these billions of dollars to the bankers who caused the problem. They didn't bail out the homeowners and just give them their fucking house. Say, hey man, they should have never wrote you this loan. So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna fucking.
I don't know how to there's like no way to chat at him.
Boom, here you go. Have that house and hope you can pay the taxes.
I think I got it. I think I got it
now, but at least it would have been something. And the fucked up part of that is, like I said, the banks would have gotten the money anyway. You would have written, you didn't have to cancel the mortgages. You would have paid the mortgages off, but they didn't do that. They just said, oh, you guys fucked up and you threw a bunch of paperwork around. So here, we're going to, write you a check. And, hey, if you give yourself $1 million bonuses next year for failing the economy and fucking putting people into, the poorhouse, we won't say nothing about it. And that's what fucking happened. And regular people like me and other hardworking people that were living by their rules got fucked.
I agree. What's up, Shoe Stop? Going to the dentist today, man. Just a little downtime. You about to throw in something on some pimp juice action, or what's going on?
Hey, can I interrupt here for 1 second, guys?
He ain't even listening, probably. But no, yeah, I just think, I mean, at the end of the day, you know, on the whole immigration piece, real simple for me. If it's
Can I interrupt here for 1 second, guys?
He ain't even listening, bro. Oh, go ahead, brother. Go ahead.
All right, cool. I'm sorry. I'm on a lot of a lag. I'm on a really bad connection here.
Yeah, we just talking. Go ahead.
But I just wanted to tell you guys, is it okay with you if I broadcast this to my podcast? I broadcast to like a whole bunch of different platforms. Is that okay with y'all? All right, cool. I'm sorry. I'm on a lot of a lag. I'm on a really bad connection here. But I just wanted to tell you guys, is it okay with you if I broadcast this to my podcast? Broadcast to like a whole bunch of different platforms. Is that okay with y'all?
Hey, Shoes, are you there? You good with it? What kind of platform you gonna be on?
I do a cannabis show, but I cover all kinds of topics while we smoke out.
I'm having connection issues too. I'm gonna log out and come back on, but I'm just having some connection issues. I don't know why I couldn't talk, but I think it's pretty dope if you want to put it on your podcast. Yeah, I'll be right back.
I cover all kinds of topics while we smoke out.
I'm having connection. Yeah, I think everybody's having connection issues. No Justice, do you want me to host it?
It's
I don't
me.
know where you're
I'm
at,
ruining
if
the
you're at
chat.
Wi-Fi or
Here,
where
I'll
you're
get
at,
out.
but seems like everybody's having connection issues.
It's
Or
me.
there's-
It's me because I'm double logged
there's
in. I'll
to
fix
this
it right
space.
now.
Yeah, I'm good with it, Nays. If you want to put it on your podcast, are you gonna start a different space, Houston?
Yeah, give me like
That's
95 minutes. I'll start a different spaces. Yeah, we're all having like a big lag.
No, there's no lag at all. It was all me.
You
And
can do it, Nays. We're gonna have some more people here in a minute.
All right.
there's
for
no
sure.
more lag. They don't realize there's
I'll
no more
catch
lag.
you
It was
guys
me.
Later, I gotta get some shit done.
All right, and they were all cool with that. They were all cool with that. They're like, yeah, man, we'll go. He's going to start another space, and we'll go live on that space, man. So that'll be great. The problem was, I don't think I followed that guy, man. Oh, shit. I didn't follow him. I don't know if I followed him, man. Maybe I was following those guys. I don't know. I think I was. God, I can't remember their names. I'll have to find their I don't know where to go to look for spaces. You can see it on your phone. Okay, I could get them on my phone. It's just I can't double log in. I ruined the whole goddamn conversation, man, because I double logged in. Okay. I see there is a space open. I love these spaces, man, but I'm just thinking if his space pops up, I don't know if I'm following that guy. I can't remember his name. It was regarding something. His name. Fuck, I can't remember it, man. What are we listening to? Spaces on Twitter, Josh. You know those purple rooms that pop up at the top of your Twitter feed on your phone that you never click on? Or that when you click on it says you're not allowed to click on this? You did nothing intentionally, fuck it. No, they were ending it anyway. They were all leaving. This guy wanted to start a new space anyway, so it's but I just here, maybe this guy joined this other space. And let me just see who's in there because it doesn't show you everybody that's in there. No, he's not in here. This is probably one of those anti-capitalistic chats.
Barely. But that's not how that works. It comes from the democratic process of
agreement amongst a large majority of people, not just from somebody's arbitrary decisions. So what
You're all very smart and you all use real big words, but let me explain something to you. If you don't learn how to grow vegetables and feed yourselves, you're all gonna die. This government shit that you love talking about all day, every day, it doesn't give a fuck about you and it's going to collapse. This isn't doing anything.
we need to find a way to get rid of that.
Wow.
I hear you. I just want to be as clear as possible. I think that decentralization is the objective, not centralization. Not for there to be one person who has more, access or more control. Of course, there are going to be limitations to, just like there are in real life. Unfortunately, there's like a birth lottery, and some people are born in, Canada. Some
Oh, if
people
I
are
could
born in
retweet this,
Nairobi,
then I could bring it up on the
and
computer.
it's just, you can't control every single variable, but to be able to provide a decentralized opportunity for people to participate in the networks that they want to participate in, and in a way, hopefully to bypass
I want to tweet it.
and opt out of the certain
How do you tweet?
institutions that are not providing them any value. The thing about value,
Here we go.
the term, this is just me, I'm just suggesting that in general, we all value things no matter what. I mean, there are certain things that you prioritize in your life and your time. There are certain things that maybe you have a pair of shoes that you value more than.
I don't necessarily need to
nature of their existence on this
participate in
planet
them. I just like listening, and I can comment right here.
Are completely unalienable as they should be, but people are still going to choose, like even in a perfect socialist utopia, which is
I could tell him that I'm
like to have.
Before I go live, I can ask him permission if it's okay. Before I even do it, I say, "Hey man, is it okay if I broadcast this space live on my podcast?" Let me see. The Pale. His name is The Pale Horse. Let's see here. I'll tweet it at him. Why doesn't he come up, dude? Why doesn't he come up? Fucking unreal, man. What is it? The Pale? Because that's not his at. Oh. The Pale Horse. Yes, it is. Why isn't he coming up? These fucking cunts. The Pale Horse. Grotesque one? That's not him. It must be a 0. God damn it, dude. That's bullshit. He's impossible to find. That's bullshit. Dude, that's bullshit. There's something up with the search on Twitter, man. Holy fuck. Do you mind if I broadcast your space to my podcast on YouTube and other formats? He's not even going to see the tweet. Dude, I couldn't even look him up. He's just as fucking subverted on Twitter as... Oh, I'm not following him. Well, that would help. How did I get invited to his space? Probably because someone here... I know someone that's here. Alright, so I can't double join because it'll bomb his fucking chat. Double logging in.
Saying spaces that you want to be a part of.
Mm-hmm.
However, if the
Oh, I could log in with another one of my accounts.
You can buy tickets because we need to make our 28% off of resale.
Right.
Now you're forced.
That's the thing. I could listen on this one and log in with another one. I'd be able to talk and type to them and everything.
Do you see like kind of what?
So let me. I love this example. Yeah, and I am gonna have to head out in a minute because for one, again, I don't want to monopolize the conversation. Two, I'm stealing technically stealing labor value right now back from my employer. But basically, okay, that's a great example. So for one, we'll change it a little bit and hope that this will make sense, because I hope that this is something that can happen. For example, think about Uber, right? Fuck Uber and fuck all these goddamn gig economy, like middlemen, right? And they steal. To me, it makes me sick every time that I think that, like,
if you guys want to join in,
is having 30%.
There's a link to
it. This ride, or 40% taken for fucking Uber. So
that's some Bible shit.
What I'm saying is, imagine
who knows?
That the NBA, and try to draw the parallel here between like Uber as a
they're having a pretty intelligent conversation,
right?
regardless.
An organization of workers. Let's say that Kevin Durant and LeBron and Kyrie and everybody all the way down the line who's a basketball player, they could actually decide to create their own fucking NBA. Basically, they could more or less, if they had the capability with a decentralized autonomous organization, they could be equal owners of this new organization, and people could buy tickets, to those games. Let's say they could rent. There could be smart contracts in place where they could maybe rent the arena space from either the city.
Oh, but crypto's just a way for us to pay each other.
It would give them the opportunity to
Killer
own it
GB
themselves and to actually be the worker owner.
So short-sighted.
In the operation.
Killer
GB.
Uber.
Imagine
so
Uber,
short-sighted.
Imagine an Uber where instead of the fucking VC vultures, the billionaires.
I need to smoke a bong rip for 710. No law regarding cannabis. Cannabis says it isn't for all. Cheers, everybody.
Uber, you are now part of this community, this DAO, this decentralized organization.
Brian, it's venture capital that's basically funding these systems.
No, you're over. I'm sorry, but you're overgeneralizing.
Whether it's a pre-mined coin.
You're highly
benefiting largely off of the scaling of this product.
Okay.
And they don't care about the fee structure in which I don't have any problem against DAOs and actual alternative cryptocurrencies.
But do you see the example that I'm trying to paint?
I get it. If they were actually decentralized, I'm saying none of them are decentralized.
Wait, stop. What's not decentralized?
Cryptocurrencies besides Bitcoin.
That's not true. That's just not true.
It is true.
No,
they are
of the thousands of projects that exist.
That is not true.
Okay.
For example, running an Ethereum node would cost millions of dollars, and it's only.
No, it doesn't. I set one up in my like home office.
Full node.
Okay.
A full node that actually has history to verify the actual blockchain itself, other than just the superficial.
Oops, he knew what he was talking about.
You should start a business or something because you can't do it yourself.
You gotta love that.
You might have to have friends.
Yeah,
you might have to have.
If I start a business, but then I end up paying 10% of all my profits to my Todd Buterin, that would be like.
But you're not paying.
The guy's name is Hodel.
I have to be clear.
I gotta follow this guy.
To Vitalik Buterin. You're paying, if anything, you're paying fees to the community for.
Hodel gang.
Dude, but how many? Can you name more than half a dozen pre-mined projects right now? Ether.
No, I can't.
Yeah. Okay. So there's like thousands of projects. I really feel like you're trying to take the bad examples and turn them into the entire operation, and it's just, thankfully, it's not that way. Yes, there have been projects that were pre-mined coins that people ran away with the money and they just like pumped and dumped and all that. I'm not denying that. Unfortunately, that happens with stocks too. That happens in our normal life. That happens with fucking, what's his name? Bernie Madoff.
And that's the entire point that I'm talking about when I say that the value, the arbitrary value that has been assigned, is the problem. So we're going to move forward from this topic because Quaker has been patiently waiting with their hand up for a while. I'm going to ask.
So I'm actually just like adding the topic of local blockchains, but local currencies have been used in radical community building. And so I don't know if there's anyone who can appear in the space. So I just tagged Pale. But for example, in Ithaca, New York, they have a local currency and it's based off of radical, local love. And this has been going on since 1991. They can, they do loans, and this is like, it's like or an alternative currency and see if this is something that's different than what blockchain is. And just I'm interested in the comparing and contrasting of it.
See, now nobody else can see it, but I see it up there twice. What holding of 1 million Bitcoin means that they have more votes than anybody else.
He's a
It
communist.
means that they hold more value from that point forward, especially if all it is a pyramid scheme. The only way that we get rid of that pyramid is by toppling it over, which is doable, and by giving value to humanity. We put the value in humanity's
Nobody calls
hands,
someone watching.
not in the
Nobody
hands
calls
of
someone watching a
arbitrary
live stream anymore,
resource.
Phelps. What are they doing?
Every time we do
Unreal.
that, we fail, and we wonder why. It's because the system doesn't work. So it doesn't matter how you do it, whether it be through smart contracts or blockchain.
I'm going to change the
or
title of my show to
fake,
Listening to Smart People
local
Talk.
currencies. Eventually, it's going to collapse. It has to. It has to, because eventually somebody is going to amass more of it than anybody else. These are the simple cycles of existence that we continue to go through. And until, like any other thing in this world, we are willing to break that cycle and move forward around it, under it, through it, however, until we're willing to do that, nothing is going to change.
He's right.
Can I say one more thing?
Dude.
I am about to head out. It's been nice having a conversation with you guys. I follow most of you on Twitter already. So for one, I would just say that I think that value.
This guy's
is
following me
something
back
that,
already.
At the end of the day, like, yes, there are renewable resources.
He just followed me
and
back.
Believe me, I want to be as clear as possible. Like, I wish that this were not the case, but yes, there are some resources that are renewable, and I think there are a lot that are not. Gold and things like that are not necessarily renewable unless we have like a meteor that hits Earth. Like, what I'm saying is, at the end of the day, scarcity is a real thing. I don't want it to be. I definitely don't think that things like land and water and food and the necessities of life should in any way be scarce. And I hate that we live in that system. But I'm saying that you keep on saying that value is arbitrary, and ultimately, in some ways, yes, but in a lot of ways, there is such a thing as scarcity. There is, at the end, there is something that needs to be looked at there. The other thing is, I would just say that in general, I would encourage people to look more into blockchains and DLTs and smart contracts and decentralized autonomous organizations as I said before, as an avenue to actually get us toward that part or that vision of valuing humanity again. I know it might sound esoteric or sort of far-fetched from where we're standing right now, but I just encourage people to check it out, and hopefully, part of what I'm doing right now is to help to spread awareness about that, not only in this discussion, but also, again, as I said, I work in this industry. So anyway, in good faith, I leave you guys, and good luck, and hope we can get there soon.
Thanks, Bill, for the amazing description. Always appreciate that, and the learning and the.
No, and half the time it ain't shit. So take it for what it's worth. I'm just some fucking dude sitting at his job right now, stealing.
So that what I find here is everybody stays really super close to like our values, and
He's
when
letting
we
us
stay close to our
rebroadcast his
principles
space.
and our,
He
I would say
tweeted
our
me back.
principles. It makes things a lot more clear and less confusing. And so, like, he is this, the guy, he's now left, but I'm just saying, like, he's gonna stay on message because that's what he's tied himself to. So if he was like all over the place, that would be confusing. And we're the same. We're staying close to our principles. So if we were like, well, our principles are flexible, then we'd be Democrats. Like, but we're not. Like, we're here because we have principles and we're going to stick to them. And they keep someone like you solidly clear because you're not going to adulterate it with something that waters it down. And I think as long as we stay in that way, we'll always be a lot more intelligent with what we're saying.
Avenue for us to build up worker cooperatives and make sure that they don't get screwed over in the process of being created. But at the same token, what happens when that smart contract gets used to assure that you actually get a house? What happens when that smart contract is used to allow you your daily allotment of water. Like those are the things that don't get considered, and that's
Daily
what
allotment
leads
of
to
water.
false scarcity. And false scarcity is why we have issues now. It's manufactured. It's like right now at all the ports, you see all the ports are full of all of these container ships that need to be unloaded, that are full of goods. And, oh, great, now Joe Biden has all the ports working 7 days a week, 24 hours. So maybe our supply chains can get back up and running. But it's all fake. It's fake. The resources are there. All of it's there. It's ready, willing, and able to be taken. But we've created these isolated avenues by which they can be transported, by which they can be sold,
got an opinion,
and by which they are stocked. And those false avenues create the manufactured scarcity that drives up the prices.
You're not wasting your time.
It drives up how much everything costs.
Are making a lot of sense.
It's
they're
why we
just
are
humble,
also
bro.
fucking
Let's just
broke right now.
Humility.
It's why if you go to the grocery store, half the fucking shelves are empty.
I'll smoke to that.
Because they want it to be empty.
No longer going to
Not
cannabis.
because it has to be empty. This isn't true for everywhere, and I'm aware of that. But in my area, there are a fuckload of farms. A buy local grocery store could go fill every fucking shelf.
Oh my God!
Fresh, just delicious, homegrown food. But they won't
I got
do
a
that.
seed!
They won't do it because that would cut into the profits of the big corporations who sold that supermarket their fucking goods. And it's not actually good for the population to eat those good foods, at least in their eyes, because then they can't steal our money from us. They can't steal our value. And that's the biggest issue, is that by creating that arbitrary value, that's how we measure ourselves.
Why
that's
does
how
our
we begin to
cannabis
measure
have
ourselves.
seeds
That's
in it,
why
man?
the dollar has become like our god. And we can't
Oh
let
my
that happen.
God!
By creating smart contracts and blockchain to measure value transfers and the actual things that are done to complete a contract and leaving it up to a computer program, the whole system is flawed in and of itself from the get-go. And you're just limiting the human experience in general. And that, to me personally, that's disgusting. It's disgusting. Why would I do that? Why would I limit somebody for the sake of, oh, well, you didn't fulfill the contract. Okay. Well, was there an extenuating circumstance? Because a fucking computer program isn't going to care. You going to program in as an extenuating circumstance? Maybe the person that the contract was with is dead.
He's talking about
a computer
AI.
program doesn't care about that.
This is what I've been talking
about. A computer
about.
program is going to say, well, the other person isn't there anymore, so the contract can't get through. Well, now there's value that's sitting there that somebody else is going to have to claim. And more than likely, that value is going to be held by the person who controls that system. And there always has to be somebody that controls that system. They can't control themselves.
I don't know how I got only getting seeds, but for some reason my entire grow I guess got pollinated. I don't know.
I was also thinking, like, Ryan's relying on a system that's going to be consistent, but we're in late stage capitalism and it's collapsing, and like he seems to be thinking like, well, this is how it's all going to be running because this is the Gilded Age of like the early 20th century. It's like, no, we have like 5 years left. so planning for some far future just seems insane.
I mean, any system that we create, like any AI system that we create, we're creating with our flawed and inherently biased ideology. So all we're doing is creating logic to an to an already biased, shitty system, and now it gets to like predetermine exactly how shitty it wants to be because it doesn't even know. So it's even worse because at least with the real capitalists to your face, you can see them, but now it's a computer doing what it thinks is just. Like, Peo, your example is fantastic. Another one of those things with the example I used with him with the NBA was I was trying to explain to him like what you're saying. They're gonna the means of production and the resources doesn't just mean the money. It means literally the platform that creates the contract. If I create the contract and I'm the power, if I have the monopoly on the ability to create these contracts, you're not an equal player in this. If you want to come to the NBA, son, you gotta buy these contracts. There's just no what power do you realistically pose? Yeah, I guess you could try to form a protest, But
didn't smoke
you know,
it.
like now you're having a protest to watch an NBA game. Like you're gonna have to literally fight every little tooth and nail to opt out of a system that you realistically don't have to opt into now. So we're just creating more hurdles for ourselves in the long run, in my opinion. Like I do see some value to the tool, you know, some utility, I guess, to the tool, in the sense of like I did like one of his examples. Like if I'm gonna go get a cab driver, I send them direct money, but that's Cash App. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't need to have this entire system created for me to just give him $20 and not give Uber $20. You know what I'm saying? It's like we complicate things to just do at the end of the day. That's literally what money is. I need to eat. I don't need $1. I need to eat. So I go work to get this dollar to then go eat. You know, like we love to put a bunch of shit in the way that doesn't matter. You know what I'm saying? It's funny because it's the same thing to go to spirituality real quick. They say that you're gonna find your peace within, but we always look for it outside. It's like we always want to.
Of Abla News, the popular.
I feel worn out now. Like I really expended a lot of my energy to reminding him that capitalism fucking sucks.
It's funny, we were kind of.
It's all we talk about. It's all we talk about is AI taking over, and it's a real thing.
And it always
These
comes
people
down to fucking
understand it.
blockchainers and Bitcoiners. Like they,
I tried to warn them.
Dude, it's like I just want to say one thing.
There's still one here.
No, Sam's okay.
Not that one.
Oh.
I need to
Who was?
Nay.
I
Nay's
need-
garden.
Oh, okay. Yeah, he just he shot me a tweet about wanting to broadcast this space onto his podcast.
And what did you say?
Yeah,
Of course I said yes. This is a free space. Twitter's already recording it, so it doesn't matter.
Right on. Jimmy doing rocks, Nay people.
So when the apocalypse happens,
if they
and,
have
like the archives are found from
if
the
they have the
aliens,
ability to
and
tune
they just
in.
play our spaces.
It's just I have to tune in with another.
It's gonna be great. So they're gonna simulate us and animate us.
I have to tune in
that's
with
what
another
we are,
account.
Kale. That's what we are, bro. They found these recordings and they needed to understand why is Pale so dope. You know what I'm saying? So they created the entire universe to ask that question based off of these spaces, bro.
100.
Well, I'm used to being a disappointment in real life. I can't wait to see what kind of disappointment my simulation is.
Here, I'm gonna join in.
If I had a theme song, it would be wah wah.
You have like over 10K followers. You're doing something right, buddy.
He's failing up.
You're not
Yeah,
disappointing at all.
Half of them are fucking big cake anyway.
You handled the conversation really well with those two.
Half of those are Bitcoiners, huh?
Yep.
I just wanted to answer the simple question Liam asked. How does Bitcoin aid in my liberation? Well, not mine, but people's liberation.
He's not accepting my request to speak.
A new person has requested to speak. I may need another co-host.
Well, I'm probably not going to do anything, so go for it. Oh, she'll do it. Okay,
Stephanie?
Go for it, Stephanie.
I have nothing to say right at this minute, but I'll co-host.
Okay, so
Welcome
it's,
to my world.
here we should be good.
Dave, you always bring valuable content to the conversation.
Yeah, okay. Thank you.
Fuck your Biden.
Yes, that is valuable.
I think that the show of true leadership is people who can shit on themselves. And I think that that's why these spaces are dope. Nobody takes themselves incredibly seriously. And that's fucking amazing.
They're not accepting my request to speak.
Yeah, if I ever start to get a bigger head than I already have,
Okay.
just fucking pop me.
I mean, from the avatar, it does look like one big ass head.
Yo, man, size 8 1/4 hat.
Oh, you measured it?
Well, that's my hat size. I don't really wear them in it, though, because they're so hard to...
Yeah. I don't wear hats, so I'm sorry I didn't get that.
Well, I'm bald, so...
You measured it?
Hello, Trendy.
Hey guys, yeah.
Nice to see you here. I've never spoken to you before.
Well, hello. I'm broadcasting this live. I wanted you guys to all know that. There's a little bit of a delay on my phone. It's going to take a while before you actually hear this, probably. Hey guys, yeah. Nice to see you here. I've never spoken to you before. Well, hello. I'm broadcasting this live. I wanted you guys to all know that. There's a little bit of a delay on my phone. It's going to take a while before you actually hear this, probably. Hey guys, yeah. See you here. I'm broadcasting this live. I wanted you guys to all know that. Did that come back through? Oh my god, it went back through. Oh my god, I should have muted myself after I said that.
Mute his mic.
I'm broadcasting this live. I wanted you guys to all know that. Did that come back through?
Oh, it came back through all right.
It's so funny. Why am I ruining everything today? I ruined it all. I ruined everything. You put it in my hands, I drop it. I touch it, it breaks. Why? I look at the sky and it rains. It rains when I look at the sky. Let it rain.
Yeah, I am at work. So, I'm here.
Man, fuck work, dude.
I'm a freaking disaster.
Yeah.
I have too much of a delay to participate. It's terrible.
Capitalism. That's why I work.
I'm not in. They're all in real time, but because I'm using that.
I'm a
and this,
motherfucking filmmaker. Well,
it takes too long,
aspiring
man.
filmmaker. I want to do that for a living.
Nah, you already are, bro. You already are.
Thanks. Yesterday I was actually out there in the city. I live in Los Angeles, so it was fucking stormy like crazy. Took my camera out and I was just out there for 8 hours straight. Got up early in the morning, went out there in the elements and was just shooting around the city. I got some beautiful shots. I took my long lens, so I got like very extreme close-ups on people with umbrellas and like, storm jackets. And I just got like some beautiful shots in the rain. Like I'm so hyped on it. Like I did all that before work yesterday morning, just because like, we never get made me late for work too.
I need a bong rip, man.
By the time I got there, I was like 20 minutes late. I was like, oh fuck, I'm so sorry. But at the same time, nah, I'm not sorry. Fuck work.
Yeah, bro. Never be sorry for doing something you're passionate about. Like that. I'll say it a million fucking times. I would rather somebody who were passionate about something than ever have to do it for a paycheck. That's how we get real shit. That's how you get real art. That's how you get real products. That's how you get real shit. Is through passion. You do that shit for profit. That's when you get bullshit. That's when you get a blank canvas that a motherfucker got paid $85,000 for that said, "Take the money and run."
You guys, I have a funny. I have a funny story. I used to work at Whole Foods, and like the large warehouse, like not the market, but the large warehouse. Like I used to work there as an electronic pallet driver, and fucking, I took my camera to work one day, and just because like I got used to riding the machine, and I realized that it was like an actual dolly. Like, I don't know if you guys know what a dolly is, but it's like, it's this platform that you put a camera on and, you can get like some smooth motion shots. So I was driving that thing like throughout the warehouse and that thing was like really fucking smooth. And one day, and like the bosses, they keep like a clear monitor on every employee in the warehouse. So like they know your every move. But I did it anyway. Like I was working there for a few months. Like I was bored. So,
and Nick Brown is in the freaking chat with us, everybody. Nicky!
I put it on my platform, stacked a couple of boxes of eggs so that my camera was hidden, but I didn't do anything because I still got caught because I was filming around the warehouse. Now, no one saw me film, but after the fact, like they reviewed the surveillance cameras and they saw me like, what the fuck is this guy doing with a camera on his pallet jack? So I got called into the office and they gave me the big boot. I was like, fuck, dude. Like, but
you still got the footage?
Oh yeah, it's beautiful. Like it's like some of the best footage I've ever gotten. Like, so it was worth it.
You ever notice that they do that shit though? When you work in a fucking place, they don't ever want you to take pictures in there. You know why? Because they don't want anybody to actually see how a fucking place operates. They don't ever want anybody to actually see how any place is set up or how that's run. Because if anybody actually found out what these fucking places put out there for their workers instead of like the fucking happy face they paint on everything, nobody would ever use that shit. Nobody would ever go near it. If you saw what it's like in the back of the house of a fucking McDonald's or a restaurant, your ass would never fucking avoid it at all.
Looking to the platform behind me, and it's just like a smooth floating shot, like just through the aisles, and it looks beautiful. Like when you guys see the film Goldie, once it's out, like you'll see it in there. But like I got like a smooth ass shot. But yeah, I do see what you're talking about, because they did work us to death. It was some backbreaking work, man. Like I enjoyed my time there, but there were times where I got like extremely tired, and they only gave us like a 30-minute lunch. So it was like fucking, we would be working on average like 10 hours a day, 12 hours a day.
My CPU
sometimes even 14 hours a day, like depending on like how traffic's going and how many orders that we get shipped out. But like sometimes we would find ourselves going into work like around 2 p.m. and then coming out like around 4 a.m. the next day. So like that shit got really tiring. So like without warning, they just like cut me loose. So yeah.
Yeah, no fucking surprise there. You expose their shit, they're gonna fucking shit can you so fast.
That's the thing, like, it wasn't even my intent though. I just wanted to get some cool shots for my film.
And they probably, had they cooperated with you, they might have gotten some really cool footage for maybe a hiring project or some shit. Like, they could actually work with you, use your talent, use your passion, and grow their own business, but instead, they just choose to be shitty, you know what I'm saying? They gotta stifle that shit.
Yeah.
We also don't know if they were doing anything illegal, so they might have been like, no, put that down.
Yeah, I was cool with all of the employees there too. Like, we all got along. It's just like that one incident just kind of killed it. Like, I don't know.
Let's be real though. If it was in a fucking warehouse, there ain't no way there wasn't some illegal fucking shit going on in there.
Why
can't my warehouse?
Why can't I totally mute my fucking
watch
phone?
a motherfucker scale up 4 stories on some fucking shitty ass scaffolding.
What is that? What
standing
kind of
on top
stupidity
a shitty
is that?
pallet, or riding a forklift all the way to the top. You give an OSHA inspector a goddamn heart attack.
Bro, I witnessed it all. Like, dude, like, they overworked all of the employees there. Like, I literally saw it. Like, every day I saw it. Like, there's this. So there are these like coolers that we go into, like these big rooms where they keep all of the frosted like supply, and it would be like below 20 something degrees, and I'm not fucking joking. And they would stick a select few of employees in those large rooms, cold as shit. They would stick those people in there for hours. And like for some people, unfortunately, like it would be their main workstation, so they would be coming into work.
I think I got it.
Bright and early at 6 a.m. in the morning, and they would have to be stuck in there up until about maybe 11 o'clock or 12 in the afternoon. Like that shit happens every day. Like Whole Foods is like a brutal place. Like they do pay a lot, I'll give them that, but fucking for what they're sacrificing their employees to do.
Am I logged into the right account?
It's like I said this when I was there.
Yes.
I said this like, okay, yeah, like they're paying. Oh yeah, okay, yeah, sure. Oh sorry guys, I was talking to someone, but yeah, like while I was there, I said this like, you guys are paying us just like pretty well, like. Some of the seasoned employees
They're
are
not
getting,
accepting
like,
my request to
nearly
speak
$20 an hour, and they're getting a lot of overtime. I said, okay, well that's good. Some of the benefits are pretty good. I'll give them that, but fucking dude, like you guys are I feel like they're giving people like these benefits so that they don't have anything to say against these fucking horrific working conditions that they're just giving them. Like it's like as a justification for these benefits that the company is giving these employees, that they're willing to just totally just stretched them out and just
Dude,
wear them. And then they stuck her, like, she went straight from a library, the comfort of a library. She was a librarian.
Ethereum's at
Straight from the comfort of
4,200.
that, just straight into the warehouse. And they stuck her in that freezer for hours and hours and hours. And, like, I would go in there for maybe an hour or two to stock my
Maddox
stuff,
at $1.84,
like,
guys.
and that's only like 2 hours, and I would come out like I couldn't even feel my palms or my fingertips, and I would just like be freezing shitless, even though I had the
217
gear on.
Cardano.
Like, dude, like, so I'm just imagining like what these other people that have to be like just stuck in there for hours on end, what they have to go through. It really fucks with you, like your mental state. Like there are a lot of stuff, like a lot of stories that go untold about the gruesome working conditions of these
61,800 is the
warehouses.
Bitcoin
Like,
low.
it would sound like something out of a movie if I told you this, but yeah, I witnessed it. And that's only at Whole Foods, by the way. Like, imagine all the other warehouses.
Yeah, bro, our Missouri's from Amazon.
Yeah.
They're not approving my request to
minus
speak.
40 all night, every night. It was the whole facility. I used to drive forklift for that, and those nights when you would get stuck on like pick location replenishments, where you would just go and drop fresh pallets in the spots where pallets had already been picked off of. You'd be in there for 4 or 5 hours at a time, minus 40, riding around.
I've had to try 3
so
times.
It's not like
I don't
you're
think they
even
saw
fucking
it.
moving. You're just stuck on it. And it's brutal. It's brutal.
Enough to give you a wind.
I mean, it's enough to fucking give you frostbite. Easy. If you were not fucking prepared to be in there, your ass would be frostbitten. Like, there were dudes that worked there that were missing fingertips.
Yeah, fucking, if I talk, I'll turn it all the way off. And then I'll mute myself as soon as I'm done talking. It should be fine.
Exactly.
And
also Pale Horse, like, there were people that were afraid to speak out. Like, I was working with people who were just like, they were quietly telling me that they were freezing. You know, like, we would talk amongst each other, like, away from the bosses and all that stuff. And like, some employees, they would tell me like should I talk to the boss? Like, should I tell them? And I would be like, yeah, go ahead. Like, if you're cold, like, let them know. And like, just by the tone of their voice, like, you could feel the fear, like, just in the way that they, like, in the way that the employees talked, like, that they were, because like the whole mentality there is just like, you know, like, the slow person is the fucking the spoiler. Like, the slow person is the one who keeps us here for overtime. So don't complain, don't bitch, don't whine, all that stuff. And like, that's like a really, really bad culture to like cultivate there. And well, it wasn't the same. Like, it wasn't like
Caleb,
that, like,
did I say
most
hello
of
to
the
you
time,
yet?
but
Hello.
I would say like at least half the time, like, that
I know that was a long time
like,
ago.
at least on the floor of the warehouse, just because the employees were like
I
some
found a
of the
seed in my
seasoned
Gorilla
employees,
Glue.
They kind of had that, you know.
So I've been
that
waiting. It was
thick-skinned
right on the
attitude,
top
but
of the bowl, man.
especially with management.
One
they
seed,
really,
man.
They
One
really
big,
didn't tolerate anyone
fully
who
developed
dared
seed.
ask for like
No
some
idea
kind of
how that fucking
thing
happens.
to accommodate them while they were working. Like, it was just like totally flawed and fucked up. Like, people were for that reason, people like never really stood up for themselves.
No
And
idea
I
where
was
that
there for
fucking.
like
Where does
4
the
or 5
pollen
months,
come from,
and I
man?
witnessed all of this stuff, and
There must have been
so I'm
male
just like
flowers
imagining
out
what
there.
happens every day, like what goes on every day, that the employees are just like afraid to speak up for themselves. Like, they
Couldn't look at
obviously
the
need
whole
help.
fucking grow.
I've seen people get injured. I've been injured.
But I never
working there.
saw. I don't think I saw
So
any male
it's like,
flowers.
fuck. I'm like, come on, dude.
Out there.
I don't know. It's a lot.
Yeah, man. The worst I ever witnessed was a young kid. He was probably, you know, I wasn't much older than him, but like maybe a year or two. But in this giant fucking freezer, there was one aisle that had the cooling unit above it. So there was always condensation coming down off of it. So there was just this big puddle of just straight ice in the middle of the floor. And this kid didn't know that shit. He just came barreling into the fucking freezer on his forklift, and he hit that fucking ice. And I watched that fucking forklift spin around 3 times and then slam into the back wall of the warehouse. Now, the back wall of the warehouse had some of you who have dealt in food service know the name Cisco. So, like, Cisco makes.
They're huge. I mean,
or
they're
at least
the
delivers a
router
bunch of
company. They're the
fucking foods
communications
to, like nursing homes and restaurants and all that kind of shit.
company, right?
Well, they had these nutritional milkshakes, and we had just gotten in a full shipment, a full like 2 trailers full of Cisco nutritional milkshakes, which hadn't fully frozen yet, and they're all on this back wall. And this kid's fucking forklift just pounds into that back rack and took out one of the fucking legs, and I watched the whole fucking rack full of fucking milkshakes just come down on top of this poor fucker. I mean, he wasn't hurt, thank God. Like, thank God he wasn't hurt. But you want to talk about a fucking cleanup. That was like 5 straight days of just cleaning fucking milkshakes that was freezing to the floor. Every time you try to move it, it would just fucking freeze in place. You got people in there with fucking ice chippers and brooms and desperately trying to get it up off the fucking floor. And, you know, the company may have lost like a couple $1,000s.
I feel sick just hearing that
thing could've
story.
fucking died, and all because of just a little puddle on the fucking floor. Nobody ever bothered to take care of it. And that, you know, that doesn't necessarily fall on the worker. That falls on the facility for not taking care of that shit. And the facility is owned by somebody. That owner is the one who has that fucking responsibility on their shoulders. And that's the part that they always try to pass the buck on to the fucking worker. It's not your fault. If you're a worker, it is not your fucking fault. And it is not your fucking problem. It is the job of the owner. It is the job of the building owner. It is the job of the landlord. If they want to hold that fucking power over top of your head, it is their job to make sure that that shit is safe for you to be around. And if they can't fucking do that, then leave. Do not let them hold your life above you as some sort of token that you should be grateful for.
Exactly.
I'm getting worked up again.
Getting worked up
Oh
again.
no, man! Like no, I think we're touching on something like a very sensitive thing about like warehouse work, and I think that just goes like to that just speaks to like the bigger picture of like how workers are exploited and how many stories that don't get heard, you know. So like no, I not just keep on like if it makes you angry, man, like fuck, to be honest, dude, like fucking let it, because like the pain is real out there, you know. So just speak on it. Go ahead.
There's a lot of.
Do you guys remember the warehouse worker who I think it was a Frito-Lay employee. He was a supervisor, and he pressed the button and it electrocuted him. And because his insurance didn't cover the hospital in the area, they drove him 45 minutes away, and it caused him, a former soldier who woke up at 5 a.m. every day, ready to tremor, to, you know, basically become a shell of who he was. According to him, I would never put that on anybody, but according to his family as well. And it's like what you were saying, Pale. There should have been a responsibility on that business, and you would hope that that's what happens. But
Your
here's
lawnmower?
what happened for those of you who didn't follow that story, and I encourage you to like look it up. So the guy, his insurance doesn't pay for it. They don't pay him short-term disability. They don't pay him workers' compensation. They don't do anything. He's having a child. They start following him to prove that he doesn't have.
Do I want another cup of coffee?
And then finally, when they do pay his disability, he finds out he's fired. He has to go, and if I'm being honest, this is the part of the story where I broke down crying. He actually had to take his daughter's college fund to pay for his own health. And I don't have children, but I'm building stuff so that whenever I have my children, that they're available. And to think that I'd have to take away from that to take care of myself, he's not. I hope he doesn't. I hope he knows he shouldn't feel this way, but I would feel like a terrible fucking parent, because I'm like, damn, I gotta take care of myself because I can't do, like, you know, like the system failed that man. His factory failed him, and he said in the video, this is a multi-billion-dollar corporation, and they couldn't give me anything.
That's fucked
Not
up.
one thing. Dog, that's so fucked up. It breaks my heart even now thinking about it, bro. Like, how do you make billions of dollars and not anything goes to this man and his family? That's why, in my opinion, capitalism doesn't work, because if it worked, it would be working right now.
We're in a lot of
Where's
trouble.
that philanthropy? Where's the philanthropy? You know what I mean? Like,
I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck. No. Where is their fucking charity? Where is that motherfucking charity?
Right on.
They always talk about charity is going to be the
He's
thing
the
that
host.
saves us. That charity is some fucking great thing.
He's like, you curse. It's fine.
We are beholden to the fees of some fucking resource hoarding pieces of shit. That's it. That's the bottom line statement. If they don't fucking like you, you don't get a piece of the pie. Tough shit. Bad luck there, bro. Try better next time. Try not being yourself. That's fucked up.
Feudalism on steroids.
Bingo.
Oh yeah.
And GMOs.
My partner, just to share another warehouse story, I have them for like days because my partner works for Publix. And he has for like the past decade, and luckily he's making his exit soon. But recently we just had to go through a lot of shit.
Are you smoking 420 in Newfoundland anymore? About what about you?
Top tier
If you guys are enjoying this conversation,
hiding.
Good. I want you guys to know I really am.
So,
you know,
at Publix, they have selectors.
I have a
and
lot
they
to
pull out
add to
products
all of
for
this.
the stores.
It's just
Well,
I'm really enjoying
they're
listening
paid
to other
on
people talk too.
standards. So,
And I can
basically they're
stop
paid
at
on
any
how fast
time
they
and interject. You know, if I really feel necessary to
there
tell you guys
are a team
how I
of
feel.
engineers that Publix
Like
employs
AI. They were talking
to
about
manage the
AI.
standards. So, that can be, you have a lot of human flaw. Well, my partner was able to find a flaw in some of those engineering standards. A flaw, and I shared this in the space before, so some of y'all might have heard this, but a flaw that resulted in a 36% discrepancy in pay, meaning that the selectors were getting paid 36% an hour short in a specific area in the warehouse. When he uncovered this and, did what he's supposed to do as an employee, pushed it up the chain, talked to the managers, letting them know this isn't right, people are being underpaid. This was done for like 5 years, by the way, 36% over 5 years. When they found this out, the managers were just like, okay, just fix it. Don't worry about why it was the way that it was. Just fix it and move on.
Just put it back in the back closet.
He
They'll
fixed
get the
it.
picture
However,
eventually.
the selectors are not fucking stupid. They knew they had been complaining for the past 5 years. They had been complaining to HR,
almost curses,
to
excuse me.
management, to all sorts of levels of management, all the way
He's
up
good.
To the directors. And
I'll let him do the
absolutely
cursing.
nothing happened for 5 years. And then finally, when everything does get fixed, there's this one specific selector who did the math and figured out that she was shorted hundreds of thousands of dollars over that course of time. And she was fucking pissed. She went to the management and said, if you guys don't fix this, I'm going to my lawyer and I'm going to sue. And basically was like, you're going to pay me or we're going to have problems. Well, they finagled their way, of course, with HR and all these managements. They basically had each
That's
other's
a technical
back
term.
and shafted this woman and all the other selectors who were shorted, and did absolutely fucking nothing for them, while simultaneously making $6 billion over profit goals. So they have a specific amount of money set for profits. They have a profit that they expected to get, and they were $6 billion over that. And on top of that, received PPP loans and are not paying people as they're getting sick in the warehouse with COVID. So this woman's speaking with her lawyer, but she has to front like thousands of dollars to even get any sort of representation, and it's just all a fucking mess. And they're getting off scot-free in all of this. Not one person is being held accountable for the mistake. And my partner was able to reveal where the mistake actually lies, and it was with one person who has been being reported for discrimination, harassment, and et cetera, and they're just protecting this man, not doing anything to him. So these warehouse workers, this is just one mistake. One mistake that resulted in hundreds of thousands of dollars of exploitation. there's millions of more things that they're also doing. And there's, at least here in Florida, they have no recourse. They have no unions. They're not even allowed. They'll get fired on the spot for trying to just get a group to go speak to a manager. So I feel for these people too. And you know, my partner is trying to do everything that he can in his power to, you know, try to help them and at least inform people of.
Yeah, I think that's.
Yeah, and that's like that whole story is exactly why when motherfuckers look me dead in the eye and they try to tell me that I'm just thankful I have a job, I almost want to fucking hit them. You should never be thankful that you have a job. You should never be thankful that some company decided that you were the target. Because that's what you've become. You've become their target. You've become their whipping boy. You have become their excuse for why they can't do something or why they can't take care of somebody or why things have gone wrong. Because it can never fall upon the person whose job it is to make sure that that kind of shit doesn't happen. And they will always protect their own. You know, the fact that you said that they're protecting this fucking person, yeah, of course they are. Of course they are, because every single corporation, every single job, all has a fucking grouping of good old boys. And those good old boys are unfucking touchable because they know the right people, because they've been there the amount of time, or because they know secrets about shit that they shouldn't know secrets about, and that's because that's going to be their job protection for the rest of their fucking life until they decide that they're good enough that they can be done. It's disgusting. God.
I mean, so there's this language that's used whenever you become an employee somewhere, and the language is like, oh wow, you know, we picked you because you're special and because you're great and all of these things that like we chose you. We make you feel like, hey, you know, like you're great. So whenever you start to fail in that system, it's your fault because we picked you because you're great and you're failing. Well, you know, like it's a massive manipulation tool, the way that conversations are framed from day one. We provide you your benefits. Wow, benefits? You give me benefits? What benefits? Oh, I get to pay only 30% of my insurance costs as opposed to a whole 100%. Got it. Cool. I appreciate that. You know what I mean? It's the language that they use to deceive us into not fighting for anything better. So people get to say, I'm lucky that I got a job because they chose me. You know what I'm saying? Like, look at how they call it a labor shortage. There's not a labor shortage. There's a pay shortage. There's a pay shortage. That's why wages are starting to increase, because there's a pay shortage. It's the language that they use. It's the same language they taught me when I was a kid. But labor shortage isn't a thing. We always have people. Unless there was a massive famine and hundreds of millions of people died, all of a sudden we don't have any worker labor or worker shortage. You have pay shortage. It's language. It's all manipulation. It's all to trick us into thinking that we're the problem ultimately, not the actual system that runs us.
Yeah, I was gonna say to Kay's point, and also your point, and everybody's point actually, but particularly with Kay, yeah, that whole thing about like upper management being able to get away and not being held accountable. That's the very culture that these people create at these warehouse jobs, because it's like, for them it's all about like, you know, climbing the ladder, getting to a certain position to where you can have some kind of oversight over the warehouse. And it's like people generally don't attack those people. Like, they have like special titles and all that stuff, like for their positions, and they're regarded as like they're regarded usually like as like these very valuable managerial type of staff workers. And really, these people just sit down on a fucking monitor on a computer all day and they don't do anything. They just count numbers. And it's like, oh, okay, well, yeah, you've worked the warehouse before, like you've actually been on the ground, but Like, when's the last time you ever fucking picked up a pallet jack? You know, when's the last time you drove a forklift? And it's like, these people get treated with so much respect that they don't deserve. And by the way, like, some of these people get to those positions without having to work like extremely hard too. I mean, some people it's like like a word of mouth thing. Not everybody gets to these managerial positions because they worked hard in the warehouse. Like they knew a guy that knew a guy that knew a guy. Like one thing that I've realized, like working at a warehouse, is that like a lot of family, like it's usually run by like families and stuff. So like so some of the management positions are like given out just because like, oh, that's someone's Theo, that's someone's uncle, you know, like
What do you think small business means?
exactly, you know, but we're talking about like these large corporations, basically like using family to kind of like, you know, kick others down. And it's like like it it would sound like a good thing, like if you first heard it, like, oh yeah, like a family, like they're all managers and you know they're all helping one another out. And but when you really like look at it, it's like no, like, you know, it's like a fucking hierarchy. Like it's like all of these family members are like in positions of power, and all of the other workers on the floor are like peasants. And that's like one of the big reasons why a lot of people are able to get away with stuff. Like I'm not saying it's just like family situations, but in situations where like management, they're like connected, they have like this inner dialogue with themselves, and they don't really communicate what's going on with in terms of production, like with the warehouse floor workers. Like they keep a lot of that stuff is like kept secret, and you see them talking amongst each other like all the time, and you can only wonder, like you scratch your head, like what the fuck are they talking about? And it's like they're talking about ways to screw you is what they're talking about. Like when they have like these staff meetings every once in a while, they call everybody to the floor or to the office, and then you know they tell employees like how good of a job that a particular person is doing. They make you employee of the month and all that stuff. No, like what they're really doing is testing to see how far you can go so that they can raise the limits. Or
You guys, I'm sorry that you're not as interested in this as I am, but I will see you guys later, okay? I will talk to you guys. Why is that showing up like that? That is kind of weird. Oh, that's showing that desktop over there. I gotcha. Yeah, cool. All right. I will see you guys around 4:20. Let's do a 4:20 show my time. All right. Love y'all. Take care. I found a seed. I'm so glad I finally found one seed. I mean, I smoked two of them at least. But I got one, man. So it's the Gorilla Glue. And I'll be looking for more, man. There must have been a male flower in there somewhere. There's a lot of cannabis out there, man. Must have been a little male blossom somewhere, and it puffed up some fucking pollen. I don't know. I don't know, man. I don't know. Hopefully it's a feminized Gorilla Glue seed, though. I'll see when I try to grow it. Alright, you guys take care. Love y'all. Bye now. Thanks for watching.